Hello everyone and welcome back to another pen rambling, and on this episode we are going to talk about maintenance. Now if you already are into fountain pen and you have, let's say, more than one pen, you will start to notice that when you want to change color of ink, you need to do something that we call as maintenance. So the purpose of maintenance here is usually we want to clean out a pen because we want to change ink or we want to store it away, prolong the life of the pen that we have regardless of the price that we bought it. Okay, later I'm going to show you some cheaper pens, and then some of us, because something happens to the fountain pen, that we need to do some maintenance. Right, so in front of you I washed already two pens, and there are tools here that I'm not able to put in, they are put in, and then there are some tools that I'm not able to put in this what do you call this one, this shot. Okay, so I have one TWSBI 580 diamond here, and then this one is Pilot Custom 74. Okay, I have two pens here that I already washed. I wanted to film in while I was washing this, but the what do you call that thing? The picture was so bad that I don't think if I put it there, you will enjoy the washing process. Alright, so the pen that I have in front of you, I can dismantle fully. Okay, dismantle fully because it is friction fitted. Okay, so I can take the nib and the feet apart for these two pens. So there are pens that I don't take it apart. Okay, for example, Platinum 3776. Okay, sorry, not this one. Okay, so this one, which is already washed, also cleaned, right? When I wash this, I don't take it apart. But if you notice that if we don't take apart the feet and the nib, the ink may clog up in this section where we cannot see. Alright, so I'm going to go into the tools that you may need. Okay, the general tools that you may need while you're doing some of this maintenance. Alright, number one, of course, sometimes we do need a loop, L-O-U-P-E. This one that I have is 10X, and I bought it long time ago on eBay, when eBay was popular. Okay, and then I got this one first, which is the silicone grease. So this silicone grease is from the Goulet pens, which is already years ago. I mean, like more than 7, I think, and I still have a lot. I mean a lot because we just need a little bit each time we do this. Not every time we need to grease our pen. And because I do buy TWSBI, and TWSBI does include a more liquid type of silicone grease for its pen, okay, for the pen here, so I interchange between the grease from Goulet pen and the grease from TWSBI. Right, apart from that, you will also need Bob syringe, I think this is called. Okay, or if you have pharmacy nearby, you can, this one is actually, I think, is a kit nasal something but this one I bought again with Goulet together, because back then, like 7-8 years ago, it is a little bit difficult to find this thing locally, or at least where I live. And if you do want to do extra maintenance to your tips of your nib, you might need some of these paper. Alright, so this is not micro mesh. I forgot what is this called, but this one is to smooth out your pen. But somebody told me that if you want to smooth out your pen naturally, use it, write it. The more you write it, because it goes the friction between the nib, the tip of the nib with the paper causes some friction, and it may smooth out after like 4 or 5 pages of A4 or letter size paper. So you may want to try that before you try to do some maintenance of your own. Okay, there are a lot of older video put out by Goulet Pens, SBRE Brown, okay, and then the old one is Pen Habit. They put out a lot of this tip maintenance. So the one I'm doing is just maintenance after washing. Okay, after washing. So not all nibs, as I said, can be taken apart. So you must at least refer to your user manual, see if it can be taken apart or not. Like my 3776 that I mentioned just now, I do not take it apart because last time when I took apart, when this was my first gold nib pen, and the first pen I got from Platinum. No, second, because the first one that I got was the Preppy, which I buy in one box and I end up not using a lot of it. But never mind, I gave it away. Alright, so this one is still ink. This was my first 3776 pen, and because I was not careful, there was a crack in the grip section. So after that, how did I notice? Because I took a flashlight and then I put it in between, and I saw, you might be able to see that there are something in between the fixed section and the grip section, but it's not directly under the fixed section, it's in between the pieces of plastic, I think. So I cracked it, and luckily there was somebody able to service them for me. But then again, because of that experience, I don't want to take it apart unless I'm sure that the glue, the friction fit of the glue is able for me to take it apart. Usually if you want to take it apart, you need some grip thing. For example, the one that I used to take this apart was, you can take it apart by your hand, but if your hand is something like me that somehow thing cannot be taken apart unless you use some cloth or something, I just use the rubber glove, okay, because it is there's some friction for you to get hold of this part, okay, and then jiggle it a bit, twist it a bit. After that, then you try to see, can it be taken apart. Now if you're afraid, then don't take it apart, okay, unless you're very sure it can be taken apart. Okay, like this pen, I know that it can be taken apart easily. Okay, so you see here, by twisting, it can be taken apart. Did I not wash this? Still got ink. I must have been not taking care. Okay, so those are the general tools. Now if you are washing it, you might need some soft bristle toothbrush. If you can get the small kids one that is soft, go ahead, because sometimes these feet need a bit of scrubbing in between the fin. Right, so while I'm putting this back, okay, we'll talk about how long do we need to schedule the maintenance. Now it depends on you. There are people who prefer to clean their pen every week. Okay, there are people who prefer to clean their pen every week, or there are some people who uses up their ink fast, and even though they are going to use the same ink again for their next refill, they still go and wash it, because just how it is. Right, so you saw me, I put some silicone grease on this rubber section for the vacuum, this piston field. The reason is we don't want this to be stuck inside while we are twisting this part. Okay, again, from experience, when I was when I first got this, I did not know that we need to put some silicone grease on that part. And when I took it apart, did you know that it stuck inside? That I got so nervous, panic, that I couldn't get it out, because this thing was so up here and there's no way for me to jank it down. So luckily, because there is a hole here, okay, there's a hole here, I was able to push it a little bit down using something that is thinner that can go through here, but without damaging the top of this part. Alright, so this is maintenance for TWSBI. If you have TWSBI 580, you may already know that you need to do this. And before I screw it back, usually I'll put a little bit of silicone grease too. I don't put it like everything, because later on when we screw it back, it will go up. Okay, now where's my wrench? Alright, so if you are a very busy type of person and you are unable to do maintenance on your pen regularly, what I would advise or suggest that make it a habit to do it every 2 or 3 weeks, just to flush out the ink. You can put it in a sample vial. Okay, put it in a sample vial. Oh goodness, why can I put it? Okay. Alright, so put it in the sample vial and then flush the ink out of the whatever is your system, and then go over to the sink, get a cup, and then put it in to flush it out. Because if you do notice that when you write, starting off your writing after inking, it may be it may be smooth, flows right, okay, but when you are using it for after like 2 or 3 weeks and you notice that it is not so smooth flowing, what you can do is give it a wash. You can do by put it under a running water, let it flow together with your ink, and then you flush out a little bit of that ink later on, so that you get the correct what do you call that thing? You get a correct ink saturation that is supposed to be. That's one thing you can do. But I do suggest that since you are using a lot of money to buy your pen, do take like 10 to 20 seconds, 10 to 20 minutes of your time to do maintenance for your ink. I do a very simple like wash so that the feed is free flowing again. And then because the nib does have this channel, it does have this channel, we don't want to have anything blocking that. If you already use pen for a very long time and there was never a wash for a year or two, I do suggest that you soak it in, especially if you're not using any permanent ink. Even if you're using permanent ink, then soak it in a cup of water. Just regular tap water will be enough. Okay, done with my TWSBI. So I do have a lot of ink up already in my drawer, so I'm not going to ink up this one. And while I'm talking, we'll just see. So some ink does stain your feed, so you can see that one. Okay, so it is best that you do this one. And when you put the nib and the feet section back, there are pens, that are only oriented to that one particular direction. So make sure you do know if your feed is already fitted properly back to the grip section, right? And if you're a person, that doesn't matter, what do I want to say? Oh, doesn't matter so much. Sorry. Oh no. Okay, I'm rambling here. Cancel what I've done. Okay, so I'm still not knowing what I'm going to ink out this one. Now, yeah. So ink up and then soak it with just tap water and then leave it there. If you see that the water is already like very saturated with the ink, throw it out and then fill it again. You may need a few days in order for the grip section, the feed section, if you are doing like this to get the ink out and you are not very confident to pull out the nib section. So that's what I would suggest. Since you're already having to spend such a amount of money on the pen, we do want to prolong the life of the pen. So here is the maintained pen. So it is important for you to do maintenance on the fountain pen, especially pens that are meant to be used and used again. Okay, so to do your maintenance, you may need a few tools that are not that expensive. Oops. Okay, and then continue using your pen until like you got fed up with it. So that's my rambling about maintenance. Thank you for listening in, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.